Hey guys, here, I'll just get that ready. Hey guys, this is Jim from Just Push Play, Ottawa's video game web show, and today, as you can see, I don't usually use this sort of point of view because it's not usually just myself. So yeah, today it's just myself, duh, and yeah, it's kind of convenient because I haven't heard back from the other guys. It's the middle of summer, so it makes sense. These things happen. Um, but Yeah, it's it's cool. I know Shinoda definitely wanted to make it today. I didn't hear back from him, and it's totally understandable. But yeah, anyways, there's not a lot of video game news this week, and it's kind of since I have the spotlight right now. Yeah, it's I find that happens in the summer and even during the year, unless it's like October. Some weeks there isn't really a lot to talk about, so I don't expect this stream to be very long, but it's actually kind of convenient, and I think I did mention that already. It's convenient. The reason is it's convenient is I want to talk about Just Push Play. Just Push Play, it's growing. If you haven't checked our Twitter account, please do. If you just check our streams, or if you haven't checked our YouTube videos, we've done a lot in just over a year. Like, we've done as much in a year as most people have done in, I don't know, years, like going to different events in Ottawa. But yeah, Just Push Play is growing. We're almost at 700 followers on Twitter, which I think is pretty impressive considering Ottawa's pretty tough. Like, Ottawa's not considered to be a gamer town, for better or for worse. And you know it's just amazing to see that many people, like either organizations or people around the world. Like, it's so cool to see that support, and we really appreciate it for sure. And we want to continue helping out the city and promoting video games and related events and other things. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff happening in the next 6 to 12 months. Some stuff I can't mention it, unfortunately, but stuff I always wanted to do, but for some reason or another we couldn't do it. And that's all I can say, unfortunately. I can't tell you because otherwise some people will be angry with me. And yeah, but yeah, so I didn't find a lot going on to today's stream because I want to have some something for you guys to watch. And like, I don't want to be like, hey, we're not doing anything this week, it's canceled. But no, I found a few things so far that I just wanted to talk about. Someone's opinion on Game Informer. It was written by Harry Mackin, and it was about I don't want to collect things anymore. I thought it was kind of interesting because it's sort of how I feel with games. We've gotten to the point where I don't know what's happened in the last few years, but we're now collecting stuff and we don't know why. Like, it's just game filler. And he sort of argues, there's all these different examples, like the red coins in Mario. Like, it's just filler that, obviously they purposely put the coins, like, in a place where it's challenging. But another example the article uses is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag with, treasure chests, sea shanties. He says that's really good. But, his main argument seems to be, collecting should be purposeful. And I totally agree. Like, don't just add stuff to your game to pad it out. The original Wind Waker was really bad for that. Going back and forth, like all these fetch quests. And I know it's harder to make content that's original, but that isn't repeated content, or easy to, regurgitated content. But yeah, I totally agree with that. So there wasn't really a ton to that article other than that. He sort of talks about, yeah, it's great to have everything, but you shouldn't. It should be interesting, and I think that's really important, especially as games are getting more and more expensive. It's worth to keep that in mind. So that was a cool article on Game Informer. As I said, not a lot this week to really talk about or even discuss. Like, even if everyone was here, yeah, like, but it's interesting that Sony seems to be really pro developers this generation. This article is from VG247.com, talking about, Saturday the 12th July. So that was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. About, Sony thinking of having an early access type of service to PlayStation 4, and they're looking forward to it. Looking into it, I mean. And they don't want people to expect, oh, this is a full game, and have a negative experience either with their service or the game. Um so I thought that was kind of interesting to see Sony sort of adapting and with trends, but whether that's a good thing, you can play a game on early access. Like, I'm a big fan of Star Wall, and that game, if you remember Nick's rant, or not rant, but spiel, he thought the game was the final game, and it's still early access. And Star Wars, what, $10 to $15? Really good game. You should definitely try it. But yeah, really cool game, and it's cool to back games. I find it's cool to try these games before they're completely finished, as long as they are playable and there's actually, I've heard, switching directions, I heard that there's some games where the actual menu has more flair and polish than the actual game. Someone was saying that about a Kickstarter game. So yeah, there's not really a lot in that article. Other than that, Valve started its early access program last year with 12 titles. Now there are 226 currently available. So yeah, there wasn't really, but yeah, it should be interesting how that is done, in my opinion. Let's just see. Okay, so everything's working. It's always great when you're using beta programs and it's actually working. And then there was the Skullgirls player that said that he pirated the game to its creators, and the makers of Skullgirls were pretty chill about it. And he's like, how come I saw this menu in the game? And they were like, well, obviously you pirated the game, and you only see this menu if you've pirated the game. So it's really, like, they posted the text. This was off a joystick on the 11th, so that's Friday. So it's kind of cool to see how they react, and they didn't, react with anger. They're just like, you should really, if you like our game, you should pay to play, right? So that was pretty neat. Other than that, there really wasn't a ton of articles. Like, I'd have to scroll back. I didn't see a lot. Like, there wasn't, like, Shovel Knight came out, and I saw that at PAX East, and I'm trying to see some other stuff, but to be perfectly frank, like, there's Evo 2014, if you've been watching that. Fortunately, I couldn't watch it, and I think I'm missing the last bit of it now, but maybe I'll check that out. But that's the biggest fighting tournament in the world, in case you don't know. So definitely, type that in your browser, your Google, your whatever, your Firefox. And then, actually, another interesting article talks about how GameStop was sort of going to, I'll probably just use this article because it doesn't seem like there's anything else that's really, like, too amazing this week. Contraption Maker, actually, spiritual successor to Incredible Machine, created by some of the people behind the game. That was cool. But yeah, this week, just not a lot of, like, stuff. I'm going back an extra day or two, and it's just, yeah, there's not a lot of, like, big news other than Evo 2014, which is, like, the biggest news, it seems. Like, I've gone back an extra, like, 3-4 days prior to that, 6. Yeah. And then all the different simulators. Now, there actually is a potato simulator. At the time, the article I saw, it said he was just making them potato. Apparently, someone is, I'm not sure if it's the same guy, but probably is making a real 3D virtual potato simulator. So I was right, even though in the last stream I thought I was wrong. I was not. So, anyways, the last article for this week, just so this doesn't get too long-winded this week, since I'm doing it all myself. It was about GameStop. The rumors were that GameStop was going to be getting involved earlier in game development, and this really seemed to peeve and people off. And the CEO, they sort of had to make sure that this wasn't going to cause a backlash or something against GameStop, because people were like, oh my god, GameStop's going to ruin games. They're going to make it all tons of advertisements or something. So, the CEO then, I guess that was Friday. Yeah, okay, Thursday, Friday. So Thursday, Friday, the CEO promised that the company will never affect the creative side of production. Now, that's what people were worried about. Like, will GameStop be so entrenched so early in the game that they'll try and force, ads or something else? Already, in case you don't know, GameStop has exclusive items or missions for pre-orders of games. That's their main goal, to get people to go to GameStop or EB Games. And the original reports, said the company might start offering exclusive gameplay in addition to missions that would affect the development of games at a much earlier point. So I'm reading this off GameStop. GameSpot, not Stop. Too many games around here. Game names. So the CEO actually responded to that. He said it wouldn't affect the creative process. It would be entirely up to developers, and I hope that stays that way, because if you have a conflict of interest like that, where you're supposed to make a game, but then, oh my gosh, all of a sudden you have to cater to, say, like EB Games or GameStop, like, how are they going to have the original vision? Like, who gets final say if GameStop suddenly was allowed to be like, okay, we don't want you promoting this product because it tells people buy games online or something, some sort of like cross information or, something that they wouldn't like to see. He claims that it wouldn't be something that GameStop does well. They love to play games. And unlike the competition, which I presume they're talking about, other companies like Zellers, Toys R Us, Walmart, unlike our competitors, all we do is gaming. But we won't be involved in an artistic creative process. That's not really our domain. Yeah. So the CEO said that the efforts were geared towards getting the publishers to reach more customers. But it seems like stronger guarantees. So they want to make it so that people are more loyal to GameStop. So they want to get more involved, but not in the creative process, which I don't understand. Shouldn't the creative process be like the whole time that you're doing the making the game? Shouldn't the creative process be like, just because you're not doing maybe the engine, like, because you have different teams doing things? So I don't know how they would avoid interfering with the creative process, unless, like, I don't know how they would take it any further than giving like extra levels or characters to people that reserve the game at GameStop. But anyways, he says the upside for developers will be much stronger guarantees around distribution, audience with our loyalty program, and so forth. So I don't know how that will work. That I don't see how they can avoid interfering with the creative side and get people to come back, unless like they delay the release of like DLC content, like exclusive DLC content. You have the game, and then 3 months later they release it, but then even then they wouldn't have their primary sales. Like, that wouldn't get people into the store sooner, unless you can get like a demo. Like, that would be cool. I think in that case it would be cool if you could get the Smash Brothers 4 demo now, play it at home, and then it keeps you until the final game comes out. But I really doubt Nintendo would be on that, even if GameStop was. So yeah, um, yeah. So that was pretty much it. I couldn't find any other articles. Watch Dogs ships 8 million copies. I mean, that was pretty much it. White PS4 sold without Destiny. Uh, yeah, I've gone back. Mario has a new NES Golf suit in Smash Bros. 4. I mean, there wasn't a ton of articles that, PAX South passes. I mean, it was a pretty quiet week, talking about how gone back like 5 days, and where ID Software character former employees went. That was pretty much it. I mean, it was a pretty quiet week for stuff that for video games. Anyways, yeah, so I don't want to keep this too long, and since I'm the only one chilling here today, definitely check out our Just Push Play stuff. It's kind of a quiet week for news, and there's not really a lot to discuss. So the fact that people aren't here because they have other things. Aaron is sick. Aaron hasn't been on the show yet, but he might join us in the future. And then the other guys, Blues Fest and all sorts of fun stuff happening in Ottawa. So it's kind of tricky to get people together when, it's the summer, right? So anyways, guys, that's it for this week. Hopefully there'll be some more news to properly discuss amongst our crew next week. But in the meantime, check out our videos. I mean, we have so many videos you can watch, so many events we've covered. So that's youtube.com. Just Push Play Show, and our Twitter account. Please sign up to it. Just Push Play Can. And again, you're probably watching this on our Twitch channel right now. Just Push Play Show as well on twitch.tv. So until then, guys, keep on gaming. And if you're a Smash Bros. Player, the next Smash Monthly is on August 2nd. And next week, before I forget, we're doing Let's Game Ottawa. I think it's 46, and it's the original Contra arcade game. So that's a lot of fun, and you don't get to play that game very often with your friends. So anyways, keep on gaming, and I'm out. Take care. Bye.